Malcolm James McCormick, known professionally as Mac Miller, was an American rapper and record producer. Miller began his career in Pittsburgh's hip-hop scene in 2007, at the age of 15. In 2010, he signed a record deal with independent label Rostrum Records and released his breakthrough mixtapes Kids and Best Day Ever. Miller's debut studio album, Blue Slide Park, became the first independently distributed debut album to top the U.S. Billboard 200 since 1995. In 2013, he founded the record label imprint Remember Music. After his second studio album, Watching Movies with the Sound Off, he left Rostrum and signed with the major label Warner Brothers Records in 2014. With them, he released 4 studio albums: Go ODAM, The Divine Feminine, Swimming, and The Posthumous Circles. For Swimming, he was posthumously nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Rap Album. He also served as a record producer for various artists, including himself, under the pseudonym Larry Fisherman. Miller struggled with addiction and substance abuse, which was often referenced in his lyrics. On September 7, 2018, Miller died from an accidental drug overdose of cocaine, fentanyl, and alcohol at his home, aged 26. Life and career. 1992–2010, early life and career beginnings. Malcolm James McCormick was born on January 19, 1992, in the Point Breeze neighborhood of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He was a son of Karen Myers, a photographer, and Mark McCormick, an architect, and had an older brother, Miller. His mother is Jewish, and his father is Christian. While he and his brother were raised Jewish, he attended a Catholic grade school to ensure a good education and a chance to play football and lacrosse. He later went to Winchester Thurston School, and graduated from Taylor Alderdice High School. A self-taught musician, Miller played piano, guitar, drums, and bass by the age of 6. He first started rapping at the age of 14. Before that, he wanted to be a singer. In high school, he decided to focus on his rap career, later noting, "Once I hit 15, I got real serious about it and it changed my life completely. I used to be into sports, play all the sports, go to all the high school parties. But once I found out hip-hop is almost like a job, that's all I did." He originally went by the name Easy Mac and released the mixtape But My Mackin' Ain't Easy in 2007 at the age of 15. By 2009, he established himself as Mac Miller, and released 2 mixtapes, The Jukebox, Prelude to Class Clown, and The High Life. At the 2010 Pittsburgh Hip Hop Awards, Miller won 21 and Under of the Year, and Best Hip Hop Video for Live Free. 2010–2013, Breakthrough, I Blue Slide Park /I and I Watching Movies with the Sound Off /I. None. 2014–2018, I Go ODAM /I The Divine Feminine /I, and I Swimming /I. None. Posthumous releases. Miller's estate began approving posthumous music releases in June 2019, with the collaborative singles Time with Free Nationals and Kali Uchis, and That's Life with 88 Keys and SIA. On January 8, 2020, Miller's family announced his first posthumous album, Circles, which was released later that month on January 17. Before his death, Miller had been working on the album as a companion album to Swimming. Production was completed by John Bryan, who worked with Miller on both albums. Circles debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200 with 164,000 units, his biggest week for an album. Its single, Good News, became his highest charting song as lead artist, peaking at number 17 on the Billboard Hot 100. On April 29, 2020, his 2010 mixtape K.I.D.S was commercially re-released, followed by a deluxe version on August 13 to celebrate its 10th anniversary, including 2 previously unreleased songs and Back in the Day. Similarly, on October 15, 2021, his 2014 mixtape Faces was also re-released, more than 7 years after its initial release. The re-release of his 2011 mixtape I Love Life, Thank You occurred on July 22, 2022. Artistry. Musical style and progression. Early in his career, Miller's music was widely regarded as frat rap, with lyrics focusing on partying, smoking marijuana, and lusting after fame, money, and women. After the mixed critical response of Blues Slide Park, Miller began to employ a more expressive and experimental approach to his subsequent releases. Influences. Miller included Big L, Lauryn Hill, Beastie Boys, Outkast, and A Tribe Called Quest among his influences. He had a close relationship with fellow Pittsburgh rapper Wiz Khalifa, saying Wiz has been a big brother to me with this music thing so far. Our relationship is beyond music. He really is just my homie, whether I will be making music or not. He has also named Eminem as an influence, stating, I didn't really understand the genius of M until I was like 15, 16. Miller also expressed admiration for John Lennon. He claimed that his background to his iPhone was of Lennon and that he had been a John Lennon fan for a long time. Miller also had multiple tattoos of Lennon, including a tattoo of Lennon's face and a tattoo of John Lennon's song Imagine. Personal life. Miller spoke openly about his struggle with substance abuse and depression. To manage stress during his Macadlic tour in 2012, Miller began taking promethazine, and later became addicted to lean. Miller told Complex in January 2013, I love lean, it's great. I was not happy and I was on lean very heavy. I was so fucked up all the time it was bad. My friends couldn't even look at me the same. I was lost. He quit taking promethazine in November 2012, before shooting his reality show Mac Miller and the Most Dope Family. In 2014, Miller was taking drugs daily, and felt that the final track on Faces, Grand Finale, was supposed to be the last song made on Earth. Recounting that period to Billboard in August 2015, Miller was definitely way healthier but not completely sober. After stating he hated being sober in a February 2016 documentary, Miller had become sober for 3 months by October 2016, noting his better mood and maintained creativity. However, when asked about his sobriety in April 2017, Miller said he was now living regularly. Miller was in an on-again, off-again relationship with writer Nomi Leisure, whom he met in middle school, for 7 years until 2016. Many of the songs on his mixtape Macadlic were about their relationship. Miller dated singer Ariana Grande from August 2016 to May 2018. Legal issues. In February 2011, while on tour in upstate New York, Miller and his friends were arrested for possession of marijuana for which they spent the night in jail. Miller said the case was settled. Producer Lord Finesse filed a $10 million lawsuit against Miller, Rostrum Records, and Dat Piff in July 2012, for the use of a sample of Finesse's song Hip to Da Game in Miller's 2010 mixtape song Kool-Aid and Frozen Pizza. In December 2012, the lawsuit was settled out of court with its stipulations kept confidential. In March 2015, the band Aquarian Dream filed a $150,000 lawsuit against Miller for sampling their song Yesterday in the song Therapy that appeared on Miller's 2014 mixtape Faces. Miller was arrested in May 2018 on charges of driving under the influence and hit and run after crashing into a utility pole and fleeing the scene with 2 passengers. Police obtained his address from his license plate number, and Miller confessed when police arrived at his home. He was taken into custody and released on $15,000 bail. In August 2018, Miller was charged with 2 counts of driving under the influence for the incident. Miller died before his arraignment and the charges were dropped. Death. On September 7, 2018, Miller was found unresponsive in his Studio City home by his personal assistant, who called 911 and performed CPR until paramedics arrived. Miller was pronounced dead at the scene at 11:51 a.m. He had been scheduled for a video shoot on the day of his death, and was to embark on his swimming tour in October. In his will, Miller named his mother, father, and brother as beneficiaries. He was buried at Homewood Cemetery in his hometown of Pittsburgh, in a Jewish funeral. On November 5, 2018, the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office determined that Miller died from an accidental drug overdose due to a mixed drug toxicity of fentanyl, cocaine, and alcohol. Thousands of fans held a vigil for Miller on September 11, 2018, at Pittsburgh's Blue Slide Park, the inspiration behind his debut album title. The site continues to be a place of remembrance. A tribute concert, Mac Miller, A Celebration of Life, took place on October 31, 2018, in Los Angeles. Many of his friends and collaborators performed or provided messages at the concert. Proceeds raised benefited the newly established Mac Miller Circles Fund, which aims to support youth arts and community building programs in his memory. The charity had raised over $700,000 by January 2019. In May 2019, the renamed Mac Miller Fund issued its first grants, including $50,000 to Moosey Cares, which was used to launch their Mac Miller Legacy Fund to help young musicians with substance abuse issues. 3 men were arrested in September 2019 during an investigation into Miller's death. Cameron James Pettit allegedly sold Miller counterfeit oxycodone pills containing fentanyl 2 days before his death, which were run to Pettit by Ryan Rivas and supplied by Stephen Walter. Miller had asked Pettit for Percocet, a prescribed painkiller containing oxycodone, in addition to cocaine and Xanax. Investigators believe Miller snorted the laced pills before his death. The 3 men were indicted on charges of conspiracy and distribution of drugs resulting in death. On April 18, 2022, Rivas was sentenced to 10 years in prison for his role in distributing the pills. On May 17, 2022, Walter was sentenced to 17 + 2 years in prison for his role.